How to close high-ticket clients and make a lot of money in 2023. This is my exact framework that I've actually closed over 35 high-ticket clients using it, and I'm so excited because I can share it with you guys. Now, this structure is designed to get prospects to get to say yes and to do it in one 45-minute call. So none of this follow-up calls, none of this sort of rubbish that I see other people doing. We're going to close clients in one call and make it look easy. This is going to be an insane amount of value, so I highly suggest that you watch all the way through, because you can have, the best appointment setting, the best sort of inbound, outbound sort of systems to get meetings, but if you don't have a solid framework or a solid sales understanding, which is what I'm going to go through in this video, you're never going to be able to close clients easily, and it's always going to be difficult and it's going to be a bottleneck. I know a lot of agencies struggle with objection handling, with getting prospects over the line to just say yes. So this is going to obliterate any of those problems that you've ever had, and it's going to be amazing, and this will blow your mind. So first of all, let me just show you that I know what I'm talking about. On my Stripe, last 7 days, pretty much 4,000 British pounds. I've done more than this as well. This is just on one payment processor, so close to $5,000. Even if I go to payments, you can see a lot of sort of money coming in, and I'm showing you that so you listen to me basically, and you know that I'm not just talking out my I'm not going to go there, but yeah, hopefully you know that I can close deals, and I'm going to explain how I can do it right now. So you may be asking me, Charlie, why on earth is there a bridge on the screen? And I'm going to make this really simple for you, and this is what you need to do. So your client is going to be here at point A, and they want to be at point B. Now, the better that you can leverage their current situation, the easier it will be to close them. However, they want to get from here to here, and this bridge is what's going to take them there. Now, this is going to be your service. I'm going to make this a bit thinner, actually. Let me go here. So this is going to be your service. The bridge will be your service. That's going to take them from point A to point B. Now, if you're really smart and you want to make closing easier, this is going to be a net, and this is going to be your guarantee. Now, this guarantee is going to stop them from falling. So let's say this bridge collapses, which is your service. They're going to have a guarantee which can essentially push them back up to the bridge so they don't lose anything. So this is called risk reversal. Now, this will just help towards the objection handling part, because you can use it as like a weapon to pull out your back pocket and basically get them over the line. But this is the premise of what we're going to be doing. Now, let's actually talk about what we're going to do on this call. So it's going to be 45 minutes. So I'm going to put a timeline here, and I'm going to put 45 minutes. The first 2 minutes is going to be just conversation, building rapport, all that good stuff. So speaking to them in a friendly manner, not anything too serious, asking them where they've been, how their day's been, just a bit of rapport at the beginning. And if you want to go one step further, you can actually switch your camera off. So switch camera off. I didn't mean to do that. Put that. Now, the reason we're switching the camera off when you initially, so let's say literally the first 5 seconds, you're going to have your camera off, and then once they turn on their camera, you're going to turn on your camera, and you're doing that to match their energy. So sales is a transfer of energy, if you didn't know already, and humans are very good at picking up. So if you can match their energy by, turning the camera on when they turn the camera on, that's going to be a little tip that, can help you. So this is just going to be just regular chatting. Now, the next literally 25 minutes of the call, so I'm going to put, let's go here. So 25 minutes, so 25 mins is going to be you asking questions. Now, you may be asking me, Charlie, why do you do this? Now, there's so many reasons you do this, and I'm going to explain one. So, first one's authority. By you asking the questions, you are appearing as the authority figure. Just like, when a teacher asks you a question, they seem, the one in charge. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to become an authority figure. The next one is we are trying to amplify pain. Amplify pain. Now, let me explain there are two reasons why people buy anything. So there are two reasons why people buy. Why people buy. This could be anything, literally anything. I'm going to explain. Number one, they're going to buy out of pain. Buy out of pain. And I want to put that as like 90%. And then the second one is buy towards pleasure. Buy towards pleasure. Now, guess what? The bridge, if we go back to the bridge, them in their current situation, them over here, they're in pain. And they want to get out of pain, so they're going to move towards pleasure, which is going to be your thing. So I'll get into what questions you need to ask to sort of amplify the gap. But by the way, this is called the gap. And it's more importantly, it's called gap selling. Now we know that now we know that people buy out of pain. And now what I mean by this, I don't mean physical pain. I mean sort of mental pain, a problem that they're having. So let's say you buy some food that, the food is to fix your hunger, and the hunger could be a pain point. So just like anything you buy, I'm not talking about physical pain, obviously. It could be day-to-day things you're buying to buy out of pain. And obviously 10% you're buying towards pleasure, but most of it is to buy out of pain. Now, what we can do is we can amplify the pain. So we can do this by open-ended questions that we're not trying to push people into pain. We're trying to sort of make them understand that they're in their situation and need to get out of it. So we can ask questions like, let me move over here. We can ask questions. So I'm going to give you some questions that are mandatory, that you must ask on a sales call. The first one is sort of, what made you want to hop on a call today? What made you want to hop on a call? Okay, the second one. Now, obviously, don't do this in order. It's your job as sort of the salesperson to understand their current situation, understand if they can even need your service, because some of the time, they might not be the right fit. So it's your job to sort of, ask them questions, get to know their business more, and that kind of stuff. So what made you want to hop on a call? The reason we're asking that is because we are going to find out their motives for actually getting on the call. And this is where you can leverage so much of their answer later on in the sort of objection handling part, which we'll get to in a minute. So what I mean by that is, let's say I ask you what made you want to hop on a call, and you're probably going to say, oh yeah, I just, sales haven't been good recently. I want to get more clients, XYZ. Now you know why they're on the call. And the second question, and this doesn't have to be in order, what is your biggest problem? So these are genuine questions that you just have to ask, because if they don't have any problems and they're perfectly fine, then there's no point trying to sell them on anything, because they're all good. But what is your biggest problem? Once again, we're identifying what their problem is, and your service is going to be the solution to that. But they don't know that yet. And more importantly, you can actually go a bit deeper. So once they say their biggest problem, let's say it's sales, you can then ask another question: when do you want to fix that problem? So once again, we're leveraging their answers that we're going to pull out at the end of the sales call. So when do you want to fix that? Want to fix that problem? Question mark. Okay, another question that you need to know is current situation. You need to understand their current situation. You need to ask, okay, how much are you doing revenue-wise per month? So current situation. And just by asking that, if they're not doing very much, it's going to, amplify their pain. Even them just speaking and them saying how much they're making per month is sort of bringing up the pain. And then you want to obviously figure out the end goal. So in 6 months down the line, where do they want to be? End goal. So that should be that. So now what you have essentially is you have X number. So X number per month where they currently are. So current situation. and they want to be at X number per month. And then this is your service. But then also, what we're going to do is we're going to ask a really important question right now, which is going to be, what's stopping you from doing that on your own, or what's stopping you from being able to do that right now? So what's stopping you from being able to do that right now? And they're going to give you an answer. And once again, you can leverage that. So if they say, oh, I don't have, experience, I don't have the right marketing strategies, I don't have this, X, Y, Z, whatever. Guess what? Once again, they're admitting that they need your service just by speaking to it. So this is the bridge in itself. This is amplifying the gap. So the more you can push down on this current situation, so you could say, okay, why do you think you're only making X number per month? And just keep going into it. You're going to make this gap. And once again, we're going to be calling this gap selling. Gap selling. This is how it works. People buy to fix this, to get from point A to point B. It doesn't matter what you're selling. Chatbots, AI, appointment setting, client acquisition, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. So now let's go back to our 45-minute timeline. So you've chatted with them, you've asked them questions that put you in an authority figure. They amplify pain, and they just get to know situation. So it doesn't matter, like, even remove all the sales techniques and methods and strategies, you do generally have to ask them questions because you might not even be able to help them. So get to know. And also let them speak. That's another one. Let them speak. Silence. So let them speak. Now, once you've done that, the 25 minutes, now what's going to happen is you're going to transfer. So I'm actually going to put this up here, and I'm going to call it transfer. You're going to transfer your energy. So from this point on, so from 0 to about, let's say, 30 minutes into the call, you should be speaking in a tonality that isn't too excited, isn't too confident. You're just asking them questions, basically, and letting them speak, letting them sell themselves, and letting them sort of build the pain. Now, at this sort of mark, the 30-minute mark, we're going to transfer the energy, and we're going to say, okay, I'm glad you shared all the answers with me. I am so confident that I can help you. Would you like me to explain how? And you're going to say that. Would you like me to explain how we can help you? And obviously they're going to say yes. Would you like to know how we can help you, or how we've been able to do it for other people? Would you like to know how? So let me actually put this here. So transfer, and it's going here. Would you like to know how we can help you? Okay, boom. You've just sort of transferred the energy, and then they're going to say, yes, of course, I'd love to know how you can help. And once again, what we're doing is we are collecting small yeses in order for a big yes at the end of the call when you ask them to buy. So we're collecting small yeses along the way. Collecting yeses. Don't know if that's a word, or that's how you spell it, I don't know. But you get the point. And this next part, for the next 5 minutes, is going to be the pitch. Is going to be the pitch. Boom. And then after you do the pitch, they're going to extract information that they want by asking questions. They're going to ask questions. And you are going to answer these questions in this sort of structure that you have to do. And it's going to be, let's think of it as a sandwich. You got the bread, and you got like the middle part, whatever that is. Okay, that is awful. It's meant to be like a, okay, I don't know what the hell I've done there, but you get the point. Actually, no, you probably don't get the point. I need to, let me remove that. Okay, you're going to do it in a 3-step. So whenever they ask you a question, you're going to respond in a 3-step. 1, 2, 3. The first one is going to be positivity. So you're going to say, that is a great question. Thank you so much for asking. I'm glad you asked that. And then you're going to say a response. So you're going to explain positivity. So you're going to be positive, because when they ask a question, they're probably doubtful. And I'm going to get into this in the objection handling, which is probably going to be the best part of this video. But yeah, so you explain, and then you're going to loop. You're going to loop it back. You're going to loop it back to the end result. So whatever they want. So whatever question or whatever answer they give you, let me find it. So whatever they say here in terms of number, you're going to say, and that's exactly how we can get clients just like you to that X number per month. So you're looping it back to the end goal. So whenever they ask you whatever question it could be, so how does your chatbot work? You can say, that is a great question. I am so happy you asked that, because and then you explain how it works, and then you loop it back and you say, and that is how we can get clients just like you amazing results. Something like that. And then what's going to happen is eventually they're going to ask you the price. Boom, they ask you the price, and you're going to state the price. You can price anchor, so let me show you. So price anchor. Now what do I mean by that? I mean that you're going to give them a high number. So you can say, usually we charge, I don't know, 5k. However, what I can do for you is 2k. And they're going to have this number in their head. So when you say this number, it makes it seem like a good deal, even though it's still 2k, which is, I don't know, a decent number to charge, but you get the point. And then there's going to be the objection handling. So let me go back to the time frame. I'm sorry if this is a bit messy. Hopefully value you're going to get more than the presentation. So I care more about what you actually, the knowledge you get, than how it looks. So I apologize if this is messy, but it is what it is. So the pitch, questions. So the next 5 minutes could be questions. I'll put Q, and then price. You're going to explain the price, and you're just going to shut up. You're going to say the price and just don't speak. And then this last part is going to be objections, which usually people are more scared about. But what you've got to realize is objections is usually the shortest part of the call, but it's the scariest. So let me give you, now let's talk about objections, because this is something that you probably, objections, you struggle with. Because if you didn't struggle with this, you'd already be probably like 50k per month or 20k per month or whatever. Now, objections is one of that thing where it's less about convincing them to buy, and it's more about asking questions. So we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about smoke screens, because you have to be aware of this. Smoke screens. We're going to talk about peeling back, which is sort of linking to smoke screens. So peeling back. And what else should we talk about? Maybe, I don't know, analogies. Let's talk about analogies. Now, let me identify a smoke screen. So a typical one, I need to think about it. I'll just put this because it's probably what you're going to hear. I need to think about it. Think about it. There's a smoke screen. I'm going to tell you what you should, say in a minute, but I'm just going to go through all of it. Peeling back means that you are asking questions. Asking questions to understand why they need to think about it. To why, I'll just put why. So for example, you could say, okay, that's no problem at all. So we're lowering the guard by sort of agreeing with them. So when someone says any objections, you're going to lower the guard by saying, that's completely fine. Look, I completely understand why you need to think about it. And then you're going to say, just so we're both on the same page, is it the price, the service? What exactly would you like to think about? And you're going to try to say this without sort of flaring their ego, because if you do that, then it could be bad and it might not go well. That's a topic for another day. But you're going to ask questions why they need to think about it. And what we're doing is, let's look at it in a time frame like this. They say up here that they need to think about it. Actually, wait, I'm trying to think what would be the best way to... Okay, I've got it. I know how to explain this the best. You've got a line, and this is... I need to think about it. I need to think. I'll just put this. So this is the ground. Imagine this is a ground. What you need to do... How do you draw a drill? I honestly don't know. But your job is to dig down. And you're going to deep... So we're just going to constantly dig until you find... I don't care how many times it takes. Sometimes with prospects, you can ask, what do you need to think about? And they'll give you the answer. Other ones, you're going to have to dig all the way down here to the bottom of the ground and figure out. And eventually it will be one of four things. It'll be the price. It'll be value. They don't think that they're getting enough value for the price. It could be... They don't trust you, so trust. Or it could be, I'm trying to think, they don't trust themselves. So this is just a few reasons why they might not buy. Obviously it could be a ton of different factors, but these are just usually the four most common. They don't trust you, they don't trust themselves, they don't like the price, they can't afford it. But once you've narrowed it down, you've dug deep into the actual reason why they need to think about it, you can then offer a solution. You can just tackle it one by one. So instead of tackling this whole thing up here, where you've no idea what it could be, it's just a smoke screen. You've got no idea if it's the price, the thingy. What you're going to do, it's your job as a salesperson to identify what they need to think about and offer a solution. So if it's the price, you could offer a payment plan. And usually if you do it correctly, they'll be thankful that you're offering a payment plan. That's if you're doing it right. If it's value, you could explain why it's valuable, why the price, so justify the price. If it's trust, you could, show them case studies or your guarantee. But do you get what we're doing? We've identified what it is, because this is just a smoke screen. This could mean a million different things. But by digging down and asking them questions, we're identifying what it would be. And then we're just tackling that one problem instead of tackling this massive smokescreen. And that's how objection handling works. And that's how the best of the best do it. But once again, we can make this last part easier by asking the right questions and building enough pain at the beginning. So let's go back to the time frame, because we're almost done now. I'm trying to think. And I'm going to give you some more tips. Some final tips of what you need to do on a sales call. Let's do a couple. So these are just off the top of my head what I would personally do, or what I would personally tell you to do if you're a beginner. Less is more. So the less you speak, the better. Less you speak, the better. Less you speak equals better. Now, the reason for this, there's a few reasons why the less you speak, the better. The first one is that there's less you can sort of mess up. If you don't speak, you can't really mess up your words, you won't stumble, you won't stutter, that kind of stuff. The second one is that the less you speak, when you do speak, they're going to listen to you more. You probably know that one guy in your life, or your one friend that constantly speaks day after day, hour after hour, and you just sort of never really listen to him because he's just always speaking. Whereas you've probably got a quiet friend that when he does sort of speak out, you always listen to him. So it's the same principle. The next one, the next tip I would have if you're a complete beginner is don't stress too much. I understand it's scary, and I understand that sales calls are, a pressure situation, but just don't stress. Don't go into the call trying to close them. Just try to figure out their problems and see if you can even help them. So figure out their problems, and see if you're a good fit. So don't go into the call just putting loads of pressure on yourself to try and close, try and make money. Think of it as going into the call and just, having a chat, figuring out their problems, seeing if you can even help them, because you might not even be able to help them, that kind of stuff. So just figure out their problems and see if you can help. See if you can help. Whatever. Okay, number 3. What's another tip? Let me think what I would give. Oh yeah, here's another one. This is massive. This is absolutely massive. If you're going to get one thing from this video, this is it. You need a yes or no. End the call with a yes or a no. We will not have a maybe. I don't care what the circumstances. You are not ending the call on a maybe. It's not happening. Maybes just happen because you weren't a good salesperson and you didn't push back enough and you didn't peel back enough and you didn't figure out what their problem was. So, for example, a maybe is, I need to think about it. A maybe could be, I need to speak to my business partner. A maybe could be, just maybe, you know what a maybe is. We're going to finish this call and they're either going to buy or they're not going to buy. That's it. And if you're really struggling and they're just really in the middle, you can say, hey man, to be honest, I would rather a no than a maybe. I'm just going to say that to them. But this is how it needs to be. The only exception is, let's say, they get paid on Friday. So let's say you're having a sales call on Wednesday, they don't have the money and they get paid on Friday and they generally just cannot afford this to buy it now. That's the only exception, and even then, you're going to get a deposit. Now, you are using this deposit as a commitment tool. So what's going to happen is, because, and this could be, $100, $50, whatever, just some type of commitment, and then you can set up another call and see how you want to move forward. Set up another call. But the only exception for a maybe is if they cannot afford it, and if they can't and they're saying that they can get the money, you can do a deposit to save their spot, and then you're going to set up another call. That's the only exception, but the call has to end on a yes or a no. That's huge. That's absolutely huge, because when I first started my sales sort of journey, a year, 2 years ago, I thought that by getting a maybe, tons of people would come back to me and they'd be like, hey, Charlie, I'm ready to do it now. No, like 90% of the people who say, a maybe never, ever, ever, ever will come back to you. So just know that if you want to be smart and learn through someone else's experience, I'm telling you this firsthand, that 99% of people who leave on a maybe will not come back to you. And even the deposit, it's still like 30%. No, it's still like 60% that they won't buy. So those are my 3 huge tips. I'll recap. Less you speak, the better. Don't stress and just go into the call trying to figure out their problems and see if you can help. And then lastly, leave the call on a yes or no. We will not have a maybe. So no maybe. No maybe. I think that is it. Now, one more tip actually. Record your sales calls. This is huge. Record calls so you can listen back and make improvements. Boom. Now let's go back, because this is what we're doing. We're getting them from point A to point B, and your service is the bridge, and the guarantee is going to stop them from falling, or it's going to at least push them back up to where they were when they started working with you. But yeah, that brings us to the end of the video. If you do need help with growing your agency, I don't know, you want to sort of speed up the journey, or struggling to sign clients, you're struggling to book meetings, then I'm going to leave a link in the description. It will be the first link. You can book a call with me personally, and yeah, I will see if I can help you. Full transparency, it is to join the program. Obviously, I do have a coaching program. I just want to be transparent with you, but yeah, if you're interested, then I'll leave a link in the first link in the description. But yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm providing a lot of value with these guys, so the least you could do is just hit the like button and comment or whatever. But yeah, well done to actually making it to the end of the video. I talked about this in one of my other videos, but yeah, you've got a good attention span, and if you are watching this now, then that means that you are generally trying to improve, and I know that you will be successful just because you're actually putting energy into actually learning more about sort of how to be successful. So well done, pat yourself on the back for watching to this point. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Keep it up, keep going with the amazing work, and smash those sales calls now with this information.